That's why Star Trek's USS Enterprise had four different doctors across Captain Pike and Captain Kirk's eras. In the world of Star Trek, change is inevitable, be it the shape of the Enterprise's nacelles or the face of its commanding officers. Yet one of the subtler yet fascinating evolutions across the franchise is the rotation of chief medical officers aboard the legendary USS Enterprise. Spanning the years between Captain Christopher Pike's command and the early missions of Captain James T. Kirk, four different doctors manned sickbay. Each brought their own flavor of medicine and personality to Starfleet's flagship, reflecting not only character diversity but a deeper narrative about the evolution of Star Trek itself. From Dr. Boyce to Dr. McCoy, each doctor served as more than just a physician. They were moral compasses, trusted confidants, and emotional anchors. But why did the Enterprise go through so many doctors during these formative years? The answer lies in a combination of in-universe logic, storytelling necessity, production changes, and the shifting landscape of television during Star Trek's genesis. 1. Dr. Philip Boyce, the first Enterprise healer. The earliest known physician aboard the USS Enterprise was Dr. Philip Boyce, introduced in the original unaired 1965 pilot, The Cage. Serving under Captain Christopher Pike, Boyce was depicted as a wise, sardonic, and world-weary doctor, more akin to a battlefield surgeon than a pristine Starfleet scientist. Played by John Hoyt, Boyce wasn't just a doctor, he was Pike's confidant in conscience. Their dynamic was adult, intimate, and grounded. He famously poured martinis during their heart-to-heart in Pike's quarters, a scene that cemented his role as a spiritual advisor as much as a medical one. In many ways, Boyce walked so Leonard McCoy could run. But despite his strong characterization, Boyce didn't return when Star Trek got the green light for a second pilot. Why? Behind the scenes, Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry retooled much of the show between The Cage and Where No Man Has Gone Before. With a new cast and a slightly different tone, many original characters were phased out, including Dr. Boyce. This was less a slight against Boyce and more about shaping a different flavor of Star Trek, one focused on adventure over introspection. But his DNA lingered in future Doctors. 2. Dr. Mark Piper, the forgotten bridge between pilots. In the second pilot, Where No Man Has Gone Before, the Enterprise's medical bay is manned by Dr. Mark Piper, played by Paul Fix. Piper is often the most forgotten of all Star Trek doctors, but he represents a transitional figure between Boyce's old-school realism and McCoy's emotional depth. Piper was genial and capable, more of a by-the-book Starfleet officer than his martini-mixing predecessor. He handled his duties efficiently, but the episode gave him little screen time to develop a unique identity. More importantly, Piper lacked the philosophical weight of Boyce or the colorful, emotional counterbalance McCoy would later provide to Kirk's swashbuckling captain. His short tenure was partly due to Paul Fix's age and demeanor. At 64 during filming, Fix projected a wise but sedate presence, not the dynamic spark the series needed to hold audiences' attention long-term. Producers quickly realized they needed a doctor with not only bedside manner but personality, someone who could verbally spar with the captain and become a voice of grounded humanity amid spacefaring spectacle. 3. Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy, the soul of the original series, entered DeForest Kelley as Dr. Leonard McCoy. When Star Trek premiered in earnest with The Man Trap, McCoy was front and center. From his very first line, "I'm a doctor, not a," the series had found its perfect medical man. McCoy was emotional, curmudgeonly, compassionate, and philosophical. Unlike Spock's cold logic or Kirk's commanding bravado, McCoy embodied the heart. His ethical concerns often clashed with Spock's pragmatism, creating one of the most compelling triads in television history. McCoy wasn't just a healer, he was a moral compass and a conduit for viewers' humanity in the vastness of space. So why did McCoy succeed where Boyce and Piper didn't? Part of the answer lies in Kelley himself. With his southern charm and everyman demeanor, he grounded the series. He had chemistry with both Shatner and Nimoy, providing a vital emotional foil to their characters. More importantly, he gave Star Trek its soul. McCoy would go on to appear in all 3 seasons of the original series, all 6 original cast films, and even had a cameo in Star Trek: The Next Generation's premiere. His longevity is a testament to how integral he became to the franchise's DNA. But before him and after Boyce, there was one more name on the Enterprise's medical roster. 4. Dr. Joseph Mabenga, the specialist in Vulcan physiology. Dr. Mabenga may not have had the same screen time as McCoy, but his role was pivotal, and his legacy continues into modern Star Trek. Played originally by Booker Bradshaw, Mabenga appeared in 2 episodes of the original series, A Private Little War and That Which Survives. As a specialist in Vulcan physiology, Mabenga was uniquely qualified to treat Spock, providing critical support when McCoy's knowledge fell short. His calm demeanor, medical brilliance, and quiet confidence made him an unsung hero of the medical team. His limited appearances led some fans to wonder why he never took over full-time. In universe, one could argue Mabenga was a reserve or traveling medical expert called upon only in times of need. Out of universe, his role was curtailed by the era's limited diversity on screen and the show's episodic focus, which made deep character arcs for secondary crew difficult. However, modern Star Trek has made amends. Dr. Mabenga, played by Babs Olusanmoken in Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, has been revitalized as the chief medical officer aboard Pike's Enterprise decades before McCoy's time. The role retroactively elevates Mabenga to the status he always deserved, giving fans a richer medical legacy for the Enterprise. Why so many doctors? The in-universe explanation. So why did the Enterprise go through 4 doctors before the original series found its rhythm? In universe, the changes make a surprising amount of sense. Starfleet missions are long, dangerous, and often political. Doctors may be reassigned to other posts, retire, or step down due to stress. Boyce, an older man, may have chosen retirement or an earthbound assignment after years of deep space exploration. Piper could have been a transitional officer filling in until a permanent CMO was assigned. Mabenga may have focused on medical research or fieldwork before rejoining the crew later in a support capacity. Each doctor served a different function depending on the needs of the mission and the state of the crew. And just like the real military or Navy, officer rosters can change rapidly based on performance, skill set, or reassignment. Why so many doctors? The production explanation. Behind the scenes, the revolving door of doctors reveals the experimental nature of Star Trek's early development. Roddenberry and his team were searching for the right alchemy, the right balance of science, philosophy, and personality. Each iteration of the doctor role brought them closer to the perfect combination. Boyce represented wisdom and mentorship. Piper embodied professionalism and quiet support. McCoy delivered emotion, passion, and conflict. Mabenga introduced cultural competence and specialization. In many ways, these shifts in doctors reflect Star Trek's core ethos: